Brothers and sisters, the good news is that you and I only have two things to think about this Sunday. Are you going to serve God today, or are you going to serve mammon? Now, some of us, myself included, react negatively to this. Jesus seems to pose this all-or-nothing thing that doesn't quite fit in our frameworks. We grow up and we see that life gets more gray, but brothers and sisters, in our discipleship, sometimes it's helpful, clarifying even, to break everything down and to remind ourselves that all the sum total of my actions and decisions and thoughts this day can come down to one of two things. Am I trying to grow in my relationship with God? Or am I choosing something else that's standing in the way of the growth that God has for me today? As St. Augustine would say in his Confessions, and I think we're all in some way obliged to use St. Augustine now because we have a pope who's an Augustinian. But St. Augustine writes very beautifully in his Confessions. He's at a turning point, a decision point, a breaking point in his discipleship. Do I follow God, or do I keep following the things of the world? And he writes very beautifully. If you've never picked up the Confessions, I urge you to pick it up. He says, "Urged to reflect upon myself," I think as we all are in some way, shape, and form. "Urged as I am to reflect upon myself, I realized, O Lord, that I could not do so unless you had become my helper." So if you ever feel like it in life, you're at a moment where the Lord's calling you one way, and I talk to a lot of young men who are discerning religious life and priesthood, but Father, I've got sin in my life that I can't get rid of. So I know that God is calling me to follow him, but there's things in my life that I still am attached to. Urge to reflect upon yourself, brothers and sisters, and myself included. We cannot do so if the Lord has not become our helper. And that's the good news for this Sunday's gospel. Are you growing, friends? Or are you stagnating? Are you praying more than you did yesterday? Or do you find yourself drifting away in prayer? Is that pile on your desk in the room still a mess? Or has some of it been cleared off and you've been able to throw some trash away? Are my relationships still guided by a low level of fear, of needing to compare and assert myself over against others to present a perfect self? Or am I becoming more and more comfortable with being vulnerable and open with my weaknesses, my failures, my least favorite qualities about myself? Do I hate to rest because I should be working? Or do I hate work because I really haven't been resting? Friends, all these readings speak about those very small moments of your life where the Lord is calling to either follow him or something in you is calling you to set something above the Lord our God. You might find yourself like the people in the first reading. When will the new moon be over, you ask? The Sabbath, Sunday, so that I can get back to work, that I can sell my grain and display the wheat, the work of my hands. Friends, we all know what values we should have in life. I think on some level we all know the values that we hold that should be refined and reformed. But our life is not about having a set of values that we follow, friends. It's about following Jesus, who is the way, the truth, and the life, and who is the one who's able to tie those values to virtue, so that you not only know what is good, but you actually start choosing to do what is good. It happens in our life, so simple. The question is, do you work on a project before the football game, during, or after, right? If you get your work done, you got nothing to worry about. If you go to the game, you got two things to worry about. Are you going to get your work done now or at 2 a.m. in the morning? Friends, the person who is trustworthy in very small matters is also trustworthy in great ones. And if we ever feel that the dishonest steward is too flawed of a character for us to follow, we might look elsewhere, or actually look more closely at the dishonest steward. For we learn three things from him. All of us humans who are flawed, fail, need the Lord's redemption to become a conscientious disciple. We learn that prudence, friends, is galvanized only by self-sacrifice. The moment comes when we must, like Shia LaBeouf, we must just do it. It takes work, takes effort. Integrity always will ask us of something, will always have us count the cost. Integrity is choosing Christ in that moment and saying, okay, Lord, what do you need me to do? We learn, secondly, that we demonstrate our love for the Lord in every small matter of life. Thirdly, that our hearts were made to be undivided for God alone. The steward had a choice. Either he lives in greed and the desire to possess all, or he lives out of a desire to survive. And he chooses to forego his commission that he would receive and make friends with his master's debtors so that he may survive. Again, a flawed model. But aren't we all, brothers and sisters, disciples in the Lord? At least this man knew that his desire to survive should be greater than his desire for greed. So stop and pray, brothers and sisters. Maybe you tend towards resting, in which case this week, get to work. Or maybe you've been working all too hard, as if 25 years can be accomplished in a single day. In which case, what are you working for? Perhaps it's time to stop. You are not Lord of your life, neither am I, only Jesus Christ. This is good and pleasing to our God, our Savior, to stop and to pray, that we may lead a quiet and tranquil life. There is one mediator between God and man, the man Jesus Christ, who gave himself as a ransom for all. He is our redemption. He is our work. He is our rest. He is our everything. We turn to him in prayer and clasp ourselves more firmly to him so that he can do the work that only he can do.